Homeless, homeless, moonlight sleeping on a midnight.
And today, South Africa and the world woke up to the news that the founder of Ladysmith Black Mambazo, Joseph Shabalala, had died, as tributes pour in for the man and his music. Let's talk about his legacy with former Ukhozi FM Station manager, Welcome Nzimande as well, who's joining us in Durban, as well as Prince Africa Zulu of the Onkweni Royal Cultural Festival. Good evening and welcome to The Full View. Bamukabinde, let me start off with you. Do you remember first getting, I don't know whether it was a cassette at the time, of the music of Ladysmith Black Mambazo?
Good evening.
Yep.
How are you?
We are good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sure. I was asking about your first interaction with the music of Ladysmith Black Mambazo while you were station manager of Ukhozi FM. Do you remember that?
I remember that when I was an announcer in the station. I started in 1978. I reached the station during the time when he was already there, because he started in 1960.
Yeah.
And in 1978, I joined them as an announcer in the station.
Mm-hmm.
And when I joined them, I liked their music because I was a man who was very able to love the music which is traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do today, I do the traditional music my life.
Yeah.
And he was also a traditional music person.
Mm-hmm. And Prince Zulu, listening to this and listening to what Babu Nzimande says about him being a cultural person at the essence of it as well, do you think that we have lost that connection when it comes to the connection of culturalism in SA?
Thank you very much for having us here or in this program. With regard to that, no, not at all. I do not think that we actually have lost that cultural touch. Actually, if there's anything as South Africa, through our government engagement and our government commitment to the cultural diplomacy and cultural programs, we are really leading around the SADC or around most of the African countries with regard to keeping the cultural identity alive. And as a result, our country has been able to export culture. We've been able to trade with the world, sending our food, our music to the world, and thus gaining a special identity within the new space of the global world that we joined when we got our freedom. So it would not be correct for anyone to think that we are sort of neglecting that cultural side in any way, though the Mambazos played a pivotal role in actually opening up the world for our local artists.
Yeah.
And they also played a big part in making sure that our artists have got people whom they can look up to as their heroes. Mm-hmm. And today is a sad day when we woke up to the news that the great legend has fallen. Yep. And his legacy remains a historical one and unmatched.
Yep.
And we continue to support and send condolences to the family.
Mm-hmm. Babu Nzimande, is that your experience as well? Do you at all agree with what Prince Zulu is saying, that there isn't a loss of connection between our culturalism as well as how we showcase it with pride, whether it is on media stations, whether channels like this, for instance, or radio stations, for instance, where we promote quite importantly, music that originates from the rural areas?
That's very true, because we took from them, they are the pioneers of singing this type of music. Although there are others that came before him, but they were not promoted as this one. We saw it very relevant, the way he was very diplomatic in taking this music even to the world itself. And it is important that we don't leave this music, because this man dedicated the whole of his life to South Africa.
Yeah.
When he won the awards in 1987, the first Grammy Award in 1987, we really formed what we call the Satma Awards. And the Satma Awards was formed by us, although in 2005 it was requested by the person who is running it now from us, both of us, that he would like to. I was still running the station at the time, and I said, no, it's not necessary that we refuse, because we cannot just at the same time run the Ukhozi station, at the same time we run the awards. And we said, move with it at the time, and when we come out of this, we'll join you. And in 2012, we really, or before 2012, we also joined him and dedicated ourselves to the Satmas.
Yeah. Actually, in this conversation, let's bring in Anand Singh, who has been part of the conversation that we had earlier on the life and legacy of former President Nelson Mandela. And Mr. Singh, you know, earlier on, while prepping for this particular interview, came across the information that was shared now during sports as well about how Ladysmith Black Mambazo played at the Rugby World Cup back in 1995. And you look at movies such as Invictus, for instance, and the critical role that they play. But tell us about your experience and your encounters with Bob Shabalala.
Well, first, I would just like to make a quick comment on the questions that you posed earlier about the cultural components of our country and the talent. And I think that we don't do enough. I mean, we see what Ladysmith did, we see what the Ndlovu Youth Choir is doing, but we have such enormous talents, especially in the rural areas, and we need to do more. And I think that between the government and the Ministry of Arts and Culture and the presidency, this is something that we could focus on, the creative industries. Coming back to Joseph and Ladysmith, such an amazing talent that we've lost today. And I've been in the presence of Madiba when they performed, and he loved them. And my experience in working with him began in about 25, 30 years ago. First, when he was, I used the amazing Grace song that they did in my film, Cry the Beloved Country. But then we became friends, and I advised him when the record companies were taking advantage of him. And he was such a humble and such a beautiful man. And about 2 years ago, the new Ladysmith performed at my son's school. And unfortunately, he was ill already and couldn't do that. But what I admire also is the vision that he has had to create the new generation of Ladysmith, and that work that he started all those years ago is a tremendous legacy of our music and KZN and Zulu tradition, which is so special.
Yeah. Prince Zulu, just looking at the visuals that are playing out now, we have one of the songs where you have Ladysmith Black Mambazo as well as Dolly Parton. And the conversation that we had earlier on as well is, how do you use such traditional music to foster social cohesion within South Africa before we even speak about going globally?
That's precisely my appreciation of the work done by Dr. Joseph Shabalala when he led that collaboration, with the likes of our great artists who came, within other part of our community. Because there's been such a strain within the South Africans as a whole in terms of getting along and working together with black and white working together. So the role that Dr. Shabalala played on social cohesion can never be overemphasized. And he opened such doors that allowed us to be inspired as a young growing youth and young citizens of this country. And actually the concept of social cohesion, he put it into practicals.
Yeah.
We were able to actually see social cohesion when he was able to collaborate not just with a white lady, but a woman partnership dealing with gender within social cohesion, partnering with the right people that are part of our society. So I'm very, very, very honored to have known him because I've been working on social cohesion. Even when we had the Mambazo, they've performed 3 times from our festival, the Ongweni Rural Cultural Festival. Every year, Dr. Shabalala supported us in those years to make sure that the Mambazos come and take part in the festival.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
if you're looking at the role of they played within the diaspora as well, of Africans around the world. You know, they have been to Zimbabwe, they have been to every corner of Africa. They really, really have actually represented us and actually forged better relations around the world and promoting South Africa as an ideal destination and as a leader of social cohesion. And today we pride ourselves with a really democratic South Africa that is able to pull together. It is because of the great work done by great men like him in using the art and the music to sort of drive and promote social cohesion, which is actually a key weapon to get the nation to go, because you can't all be politicians. So the work he has done within his category, together with Mambazo.
Unfortunately, Prince Africa Zulu, we've run out of time for this particular segment, but hopefully we'll get an opportunity to speak to you again about the life and legacy of Bravo Joseph Shabalala. That we have it from Welcome Nzimande, who is a former station manager at Ukhozi FM, as well as Prince Africa Zulu of the Ongweni Royal Cultural Festival. And early on, we was also joined by Anat Singh. It's now a quick ad break. When we come back, it's sports with Tabiso Stol.